What kind of fucking bullshit is like?
Dude, he does this every week.
The bad news is that civilization is crumbling around you.
Wear a dog mask, cut your dick off, bomb Palestine.
The good news is that you are not alone.
There's butthole shaving videos.
I feel bad for the minorities in LA for having to deal with the white people in LA.
You have 5 till midnight, live every Monday at 8 p.m. where you join 5 Limp Bizkit Americans to laugh at the absurd nonsense of the end of history.
Shit show right there.
Sam, stop it!
All right, everybody, hello and welcome back to your favorite Monday night show, airing every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. This is 5 till midnight, and I want to get this right in the beginning. Make sure you go to our Patreon and sign up for all that stuff. And tonight we have guesting with us, the great Pinesap. What's up, man?
Not much, man. Just hanging out. It's kind of getting a little gloomy outside, but it was a nice day today, so I can't complain. How are you doing?
Dude, fantastic. I spent the
Great over here.
grandparents' day with my mom, with my mom, my daughter, and my wife at the zoo. And of course, went back to work today. Life is good, man. How's everybody else doing?
Solid.
Fucking
Had a good gym day.
Nice. Good.
Yeah, well, you're in Arizona.
It's hot here, guys. It's so hot here. I'm melting.
Yeah, we're
Can't
talking
wait
like
for cold weather.
probably about a 65, 70 degree day here in Pittsburgh. So
You guys suck, dude.
Dang.
It was like,
Well,
it was
And that humidity's got to
110.
be crazy, too. I can only imagine.
Yeah, it gets annoying when Luke
I-
complains about the heat when it's 20 degrees here in Pennsylvania. We're like, fuck you, dude.
It was 110 today, bro, with 90% humidity. Go fuck yourself.
Hey, you live in a desert. What do you expect? Like, of
No
course.
humidity, at least.
Yeah, it's fair, I guess. It is a desert.
Easy.
Yeah, I these kind of days are fine for me because when you're underneath a vehicle and it's only like 70 degrees outside, you may get like a little bit of a drip from like a the condensation off the evaporator or something like that. But other than that, it's like, all right, I can like deal with this. I'm not sweating my balls off. As soon as it starts getting to like the 80s and 90s and humid, it's like, all right, I fucking hate everything.
Dude, the heat chases you around at that point. I mean, like dry heat, you knock on it, but it's like you can escape it. Like humidity, it's just there to stay at that point. Like there's no fleeing from it.
No, okay. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I like this comment from Sash. I'm at Costco. This seems to be a theme, and I think this will probably get us into a little bit about today's topic. I've had multiple friends tell me, and even in my own experience, once again, I'm in Pittsburgh. When I go to Costco, there's not like Jeets everywhere, but there's enough that it's like, yeah, they're not very mannerly and just kind of like they're there. But I see pictures from other people. My one friend who lives up in Canada sent me a picture of a Costco up there, and it's like, holy crap. Like
It's
we
bad.
on this panel would be in the minority. So Pinesap, I know you did a debate that went pretty viral when we were talking about it a little bit off air. So yeah, take it away.
Yeah, so I mean, I did this. I was kind of called up by Sarah. She said, "Hey, we have 5 people missing for the 20 far right conservatives versus 1 progressive panel. Do you want to come on?" And she had brought up the idea of me going on a Jubilee episode in the future, but I was looking at the casting list on their website, and it's like, okay, 20 black males, no, I'm not that. Teenagers, no, I'm not that. 20 trannies, what? I'm not that, but I'm looking at all these like casting lists. It's like I'm none of the demographic, or it's a topic that doesn't interest me. So I saw her offer and I was like, oh damn, like this is super interesting. I would love to come on. This is like right up my alley. And so, fly out there to LA. We're like driving to the studio, and it's like driving through a Brazilian favela. I mean, I didn't realize how bad LA was. I had gone to St. Louis, and I thought St. Louis was bad. But when I was in LA, I legit at some point was like, I need to get the fuck out of this city, dude. Like, this is not good. This is really bad. Like, it's looking like World War Z out here. But we drive to the studio, you get set up, and we're thinking it's gonna be like, we knew Hassan Piker was like protesting the show for whatever reason. They're always protesting something, right? And we knew that Dean Withers, I think, had already been on. I think even Destiny had been on. So we were thinking like, okay, this is going to be like Harry Sisson, right? Which if it was Harry Sisson, I would have been dabbing bro up. I would have been like, Harry Risen, bro. Like they tried to get you because you pulled.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
pulled, bro. Like I can't even be mad. I can't even be mad, right?
Yeah, we said on this show before. I was like, he sucks, but like kind of crushing pussy. So
Yeah, like you can be as mad as you want. At least the dude's getting it. Like, all right, you know what? I can respect you at minimum.
He is. Well, and okay,
Game.
here's the thing. I'm not a Democrat. I do have respect though for these like kind of Newsom type guys that it's like they'll just straight up be like all about the huzz, and like people try to cancel them all the time about it, and they've just got like so much aura. They're like uncancelable. Like I remember like people were like, do not support Harry anymore. Do not associate with him. And he's like, guys, I know what I did, but like we can't let the Republicans win. And I was like, you know what? I gotta respect man's game. Like I didn't
down, dude.
Game
so
recognizes.
real.
Yeah, game recognizes game.
Yeah,
game recognizes games.
Don't
So,
hate
like-
the player, hate the game, bro.
Dude, honestly. But we thought it was gonna be someone like him, and instead I see this like short guy walk out who's British, and I'm like, well, you know, Indian, right? And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I don't know who like Mehdi Hasan. Like, I've never heard of that name before. And you know, people started talking. They're like, oh, that guy got fired from like MSNBC because he was like critical of Israel or something like that. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's
It's
kind
kind
of
of like an interesting figure, I guess. But as we're going in, you know, it's clear that he wants to talk like Trump, right? He wants to talk about Trump. It's Trump. Oh, Trump is anti-constitutional. Trump is this, Trump is that. And I'm going to be honest, like all of us, almost every single one of us there, except the Iranian guy that looked like a Batman villain.
yeah, he
wanted
did.
to just, that guy was insane, dude. Like
It
he's
looked like
like
he broke out of Arkham Asylum.
he literally
Straight up.
did, and he's like, I'm going to make sure all the Palestinian children get what's coming to them. It's like, bro, you are a freak. Like, you know, I'm over here losing my job and stuff like that, but this guy just advocates for like genociding children, and he's fine. It's like, that's crazy. But anyhow, I'm not salty about it. But you know, we get in there, and immediately all of us start talking with each other. Nobody's there to defend Trump. I mean, I think
Right.
this was already, if I remember my timing correctly, this was already when the Epstein stuff started to come out, and he was refusing to release the list, and he's not doing mass deportations, and he's doing none of this crap, man. And literally that meme of the Wojak, like, fell for it again badge, you know, all that stuff's coming out. So all of us are on, even though like one of the atheist guys who had been on a prior episode, we're all on the same boat. We're like, we don't like Trump. We just want to troll this guy and like make him realize how like radical, like far right youth are, right? Because like we want to make clear, it's like this generation, you're not prepared for the kinds of politics we're delivering. We're not MAGA boomer, MAGA conservatives. It's like we want to overturn Roe v. Wade. We want to like overturn
Right.
gay. Like we're not playing around. And so that was kind of the like general energy and sentiment. And as he gets in the debate, I think he realizes this because he keeps like commenting to the audience. He's like, you know, these people are insane. And this guy said he was a fascist. And that guy said he was a racist or what have you. And all of us just are like, we don't care, dude. These are just words. We know who we
Right.
are. We know that we love God. We love our neighbor. And you being a media person, you being a slimy journo, you're not going to slander us with these terms. You know, some people criticize me. They thought I was like going up there to just say, I'm the, you know, F word and, you know, throwing up a Roman or something like that. But it wasn't to just be like edgy or transgressive. It was more to make a point of like, fine, call me that. Go right ahead. But I still support this. I still support doing the right thing. I still see the way that conservatives and right-wing people are being oppressed in America. I'm going to try and use power, whether through voting, lobbying, what have you, to stop that. Let's have a debate about that. And he was not interested because he's so used to conservatives being like, well, what if the shoe was on the other foot? Oh, gosh, the boot's on our neck. But what if it was the opposite way?
Right.
It's
The
like
Democrats are the
we're over
real.
that, dude.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing I noticed about that. So two things I really pulled away from that clown was, one is he just kept talking over you because he knew if he let you speak, you would put up good points. So he was like, I just got to keep talking over everybody. He talked over everybody.
Filibuster.
But the other thing was
It
like
made him
when-
look stupid.
Yeah, he's
by the way.
filibustering, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm really
100%.
surprised because I was watching this and he wasn't like a Destiny guy like Destiny's very well spoken for not as a leftist, of course, as a liberal, but I thought it would be like somebody making really good positions, but he seemed just that he was really into debating, and it didn't like in the sense of trying to slip you up. Like he didn't offer anything of substance in what I saw, and he wasn't polite. He wasn't respectful.
and that was
And, he was
and
arguing,
everyone
he
else was to
arguing-
him.
He was arguing the wrong base. Like it's literally what you're saying. He was arguing to boomer
Right.
cons. And it's like, look, everybody in here is under the age of 30 or 35. Like, we're not boomer cons. Like
We're not.
We're
not.
We're not the old school Republicans, and we're definitely not liberals. So like we're completely different, and your arguments make no sense here.
well,
You know what?
that was the
Luke-
second point I realized was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just was gonna say you touched on it right there. None of us were, even the atheist guy from the Jordan Peterson episode, which, by the way, super nice guy, like salt of the earth, great guy to talk to. Everyone was super nice there, but it's like none of us were boomer cons. I mean, again, the most like zogged out kind of guy you got was literally the Iranian guy. Nobody talked to him. Nobody like when we were all hanging out in like the green room after or whatever, we were like, stay the fuck away from that. Like, I don't know what dude's doing over there. Like, you know,
Dude, where's
it's
that
funny
guy?
'cause,
Who
like,
is that guy?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I
Doing one of
mean, I'm
those.
sorry, they were doing some DEI stuff with that pick. Like, they're like, okay, we got too many white people here. Let's get on some Iranian
Dude.
genocider Zog guy. Let's get him on. Let's get him on.
Wanting
Like, he's related to
diversity and
Patrick
bringing-
Bet-David, we got to bring him in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Right.
Well, and it was interesting too because, you know, we all had this sort of similar mind, even if we had particular differences, like, you know, someone was more like, I don't know, race conscious, or someone was more theocratic or religious or what have you. It's like all of us agreed. It's like the way the system is now is not working in our favor. Really, all of us want the same thing at the end of the day. And this guy is expecting that he's going to debate like your boomer uncle that makes a scene at Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. The second thing I noticed about Hasan was, like you said, Pinesap, he would just keep being like, well, Trump wants to do this. And you're like, I don't give a fuck. I don't agree with him. And
seriously.
we should change the Constitution. Like, he kept bringing up the 14th Amendment, and all you guys were like, don't care. And they don't get it. Like, we don't care.
We
You
don't care.
Just because a piece of paper says you're an American doesn't make you a fucking American.
No. Well, and that's the thing. It's
Crazy.
like they have this sense of fairness. Here's the thing that the left likes to do to right wingers. They do this all the time. They have this sense of fairness that they try to appeal to from you. And they try to say, oh, well, you're supposed to be the side of the Constitution. What if I'm not? Honestly, what if I'm not?
Right.
What if I'm not a constitutional conservative? What if I am someone who represents a more ancient primordial tradition going well back before the Constitution and freedom existed, right? I mean, all these people want us to defend sort of like a Tucker Carlson, or not even Tucker Carlson, more like a Fox News, like
Yeah.
I was about to say Sean Connolly. Who's that one white-haired guy on Fox?
Sean Hannity.
Sean Hannity.
Hannity.
Thank you.
Hannity?
Like a Sean Hannity. What I said earlier, you know, this whole, well, isn't it crazy that the left uses power to oppress us? Yeah, that is kind of crazy. It's almost like we should be using power in our favor, right? And anytime our political system ultimately loses the ability to work in our favor, we have to be willing to have a conversation about change. Even in the history of this country, regarding the Constitution, free speech was not an absolute. You know, people forget about things like the Comstock Acts. The Comstock Acts made it a federal crime to pass out any information about abortion, contraceptives, pornography, like adultery, what name you, anything that was blasphemous or obscene, obscenity laws, the Hays Code, all these kinds of things. They didn't think that constituted freedom of speech. That is a post 1940s Supreme Court understanding of the Constitution. And they take that and they say, okay, we've mapped out this box that conservatives need to argue in. I have all my pre-trained talking points because we have to argue which people's trannies are hotter. Is it Caitlyn Jenner or is it like that guy who looks like the Penguin who was like leading our military for a while, right? And when you break outside of that box and you say, I am actually right-wing, I'm actually conservative, I represent a tradition not of, I don't know, Eric Vogelin or any of these like guys in the 20th century. It's like I represent what my great-grandparents would have believed in, right? Or those who came on the Mayflower, those who founded this country and poured their blood, sweat, and tears into this country. That's what I believe in. I think it short circuits them. And so I think you're completely right, Adam. I don't think he was ready for that because people who actually have something to love and care and even die for and live for, they don't know how to debate people like us. They're so used to the sort of like limited government, constitutional conservative people. It's insane.
Did you talk to him afterwards?
100%.
So here's the thing, and I'm not trying to piety signal when I say this. This was an actual concern that I had. I actually did want to go up to him after, and I wasn't going to say anything nasty. I want to say, hey man, I know we don't agree. I know we have different worldviews or whatever. Is there anything I can pray for you about? And the reason I wanted to do that to him is, I know a lot of people talk about this whole idea of like, oh, the left are NPCs. They don't have any like humanity. They're robots. They're all these different things that make them less human. But that is still someone made in the image of God. And I think when you go up to someone like that and you say, even despite everything that's happened between us, I do still love you. I do still want what's best for you at the end of the day. It would bring me no joy. And I meant this in our back and forth. People, the people attacking me always seem to leave this out. But like when I said, like, I have no intention on like oppressing you or whatever, I meant it, right? Because it's like our politics are motivated by love. Our politics are motivated by the love of Christ. And what we want to ultimately fight at the end of the day is not this or that person, but evil itself. The same evil that does lock in someone like Mehdi Hasan to this worldview that is even self-harming to him. And so I wanted to go up to him after and just say, hey man, if there's anything I can pray for you about, I know we're on separate sides of the aisle. I know, you might not like me, you might not highly regard me, but I just want you to know, like, I'm always like here for you in terms of a manner of like wanting and willing your best. I was hoping that that would give him kind of a more human look into, we're not just the caricatures of racism and evil that you make on your TV screen. We're real human beings. Yeah. And he wasn't having it because, I've said this on other shows. He literally had his security guard planted right off the stage. Like one of us was going to jump up and assault him. Like I was going to get up and I was going to, let me get my hands on you and hurt you or something like that. And it's like, dude, we are like normal, well-adjusted people. We all have jobs. We all have families. We all have people we care about. Like, why would we do that to you? That's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing that's kind of relevant to, I think, what you were just saying, obviously there's this clip going around of that black dude that killed that Ukrainian woman. And Typo and I were kind of discussing this yesterday on Twitter. And I see some people that are like thrilled to death that are getting like these revenge fantasies of how like they want this person to die. And like for me, I've never had that bone in my body. I've never had the bone in my body where like I want to think about how someone's going to get executed. Like if I'm still not I still don't believe in the death penalty. Like I don't think that's right. I don't think we as humans are necessarily like I don't think we're good enough and equipped well enough to decide whether or not someone should live or die. And people can disagree on this and that's fine. But like, it's just this bloodlust that people have. I don't think that's a healthy thing to feed into. And I think that's kind of the point that you're making as well, is like we lose our humanity in that when we're kind of looking for someone to be put to death in like a mob style fashion. If this has to happen, then it should be like, we take no joy in this, but this is because you committed a greater evil and we can't allow you to perpetrate that anymore. Like it needs to be something somber. And then we, pray and think about it.
I kind of tend to agree with Kyle for the most part.
Yes.
But like the only thing is like, okay, like the guy who just got arrested, who killed the Ukrainian girl, right? He's been arrested 15 times.
Right.
So it's these jail's not his turn because of the system we have around it. Right, exactly. Are the judges being like, oh, you had 40 felonies? Well, maybe you won't do another felony. It's like, how many times have we seen this though, where some guy gets out of jail as a felonious a rap sheet as long as a CVS receipt, then he kills a white person, and we're like, oh, didn't see that coming? Like, yeah, we did. So like this guy gets to just
those judges
gonna go to jail forever, whatever. But like,
all those I think all of us would agree. Just those judges should be punished as well. If you let like if you let one person go and like it's their first time and then they do something, I'm willing to forgive that. But like 14, I'm sorry, someone needs to fucking pay at this point.
Someone needs to pay.
Yeah.
Adam and Kyle, you're touching on something very important, which is to remember that God's mercy and God's justice are this. They're not this. Too many people set his justice and his mercy against each other, and they lose both of what makes them justice or mercy. When there is no mercy and justice, what is it? It's injustice. And when there's no justice and mercy, what is it? It's license. It's not mercy. Mercy acknowledges that someone did something wrong, that you were wronged. But rather than choosing to approach that evil or that wrong with a subsequent evil, you're approaching it with a loving, godlike response that overcomes evil with even that much more good. And it's interesting because in the medieval ages, in the medieval era, I can't remember if this sword was under the Holy Roman Empire or the Papal States, but it was under one of these medieval nations. And it read this. It said something along the lines of, by this sword, it was an executioner's sword, and it said on the inscription, by this sword, may this sword essentially signify that you are paying recompense for the wrongs that you've done, and may God have mercy on your soul that you may enjoy everlasting life with him. Even when someone was given the death penalty in that Christian world, it was understood that they were given the death penalty not as a vindictive bloodlust, not as like an Aztec sacrifice, but understanding that, yes, you have done something wrong that does warrant this punishment. But even in doing so, God can still forgive you. You can still repent, and you can still even enjoy heaven. And I think that's how we have to think of punishment. Look, sometimes life imprisonment, death penalty, it is warranted.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that it has to come from a place of hateful revenge. Rather, that can give someone time to really heal, really dwell on what they did, and even be converted and say, you know what, I did take that person's life. And so it is just that, like, I don't get to exercise mine, whether that's in prison, behind bars, or even, I'm given a legitimate penalty of death. But that being said, I want to right the wrongs that I've done, and I want to ask for the clemency and forgiveness of God. And that's something we've lost in the West, because, really what the right has adopted, and this kind of puts me at odds with them, is I fully agree. Like that gentleman who, or I shouldn't call him a gentleman, he's not worthy of that kind of title, but that man who slaughtered that innocent Ukrainian girl, right? He does deserve either the death penalty or life in jail. I fully agree with the people saying that. But there is this weird fascination on the right, this sort of fetishism that comes with violence. It's this like siege, day of the rope kind of mentality of like, oh, when we win, we know what we're going to do to all the people that opposed us or whatever. Okay, let's for a moment realize what system we live under, right? A lot of people, for instance, support homosexuality because they think those are two people loving each other. They don't know what we know, which is like, that's a depraved act that's even hurting the people engaged in it. When they think of abortion, they don't think, oh man, I love killing children. They think, oh my goodness, this woman was raped, or there was this horrible event that happened. Yeah. And it's like an unfortunate situation. Are you telling me you're going to go after those people? You're going to hurt those people who were just as affected and hurt by the system you lived under and were hurt and affected by? I don't think so. I'm more interested, and I know you guys are too, in those people being converted, those people being shown the light of Christ, those people coming around and realizing, like, dang, I didn't know this was wrong. Thank you for showing me the way. And that's the kind of approach we need to have. Not this gay Julius Evola siege, day of the rope. Oh, we're going to Fed post and, go out in the woods with our LARPy military group. It's like, no, we need like people who have that human touch.
Yeah, I really couldn't agree more.
I agree.
And I see that a lot.
I always say this too. I was like, God had Archangel Archangel Michael for a reason. You know, it's like sometimes you got to use the sword, but not all the time. You know, it's like, yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah, and like when it comes to the whole abortion conversation too, this is something I always try to distill down to people is like, you know, most people don't have the understanding that like that is a life. For me, it became very, very real over this last year, you know, with the birth of my daughter. Even from a very, very young age, just hearing her heartbeat, you know, very, very early on, it's like, oh, that is like abundantly clear to me. That's life. I was already pro-life beforehand, but like that just made me that much more convicted about it. Most women nowadays don't look at that same way. They're like, this is an inconvenience. And then they've been told from the time they were young up until they're an adult that, hey, this is just something that you can get rid of. It's no big deal. It's socially acceptable. To rain down punishment on people like that, I think we're being a little overbearing in that respect. Now, like when it comes to abortionists and people who commit that act, then yes, I believe those people deserve to be punished and be thrown in prison for life. But you know, those are the ones doing the act. The women who are just kind of going in and getting it, I think there's certain people who probably know like that's a life and I'm okay with getting rid of that. But I think the vast majority of people are just like, oh, this is just the culture we live in now says like, I can get rid of this because it's just an inconvenience to my current lifestyle.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all of us, I've said this a lot to people, but like, think about the world that we live in currently. Like we've lived through, most of us have grown up with the internet our entire lives. Like even when it was like dad has a computer in the office, right? Like we've never not known a life without the internet. And that has a pretty profound effect. You know, a lot of us were exposed to like violence at a young age. A lot of us were exposed to like smut or just very intense like political conversations or this sort of view of the world that's not as rosy and cheerful as other generations grew up with. We live in an age that's post-sexual revolution, post Roe v. Wade, you know, all these coalescing features that like lock someone in like a cycle of sin and madness. And it's like, you know, you're telling me you're going to be like completely unaffected by that? No, dude, absolutely not. Like most of the people I talk to, even that are like on our side, came from a world where they used to not be, right? They used to believe all the same things that the system wanted them to believe in. And it was only through people being kind to them and loving that they came around. I couldn't imagine if I was in the position I was like 10 years ago or something. And I'm talking to myself as like an early high schooler. And instead of trying to, you know, introduce someone like that to a whole different way of living and a whole different way of life, I'm just like, well, you're a gay libtard and you're stupid and you're dumb. Dude, this person doesn't know anything outside the fishbowl they grew up in. It's like, try to reach them up out of it. You know, it's Plato's cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Adam is the only one. He grew up when the phone was being made for the first time, so he knew life before the internet.
That was when we
actually I was like 12
AD. No.
I was like 12 years old when I got like AOL.
Yeah,
11, 12 years old, like 97, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well,
weird.
I was just gonna
still
go back
most of my
to
life with the internet. I mean, I'm 38, so
how I kind of see it is this whole idea. I've talked about it a few times on this show, but it's like the left where I really left the left, and not even that I was kind of a part of it, but once I joined the Marine Corps and stuff, I kind of grew away from all that and went really ANCAP libertarian-esque. And but where I really left like that ideals and was like, oh man, I have nothing in common with the majority of these people are there, is that there's just no belief in redemption. And where you found on the right, in most cases, there was some belief in redemption. And now I'm kind of to see that turn as well, where they don't even believe it. They don't preach it. At least the older generations and stuff like that. It's very much that ragtag, like string them up and mob mentality. But it's kind of like what you're saying, where I think there's a lot of people in our like generation and in our circles, I guess, that are like, a lot of this stuff's not fucking leaving, and it's not gonna go away. Even fighting it outright is not gonna make it go away, because everybody's so ingrained in it. It's been a part of our lives, our entire lives. So there was always like, you always had to leave and like almost an out for redemption, because if there is none, what's the point of any of this? an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. There's sayings upon sayings on sayings that say the same thing. And it's just like, well, this is the only, right now, in my opinion, the people that talk the way that we do or speak about the same things that we do, they're the only ones that kind of have that redemption built into their belief system. Because, and if you don't, then there's really no need to talk to people. And that's kind of how I feel about it.
You know, it's so funny. Luke, you said a lot of truth there. And I think something that you really touched on that I resonated with was this idea of redemption. You know, like the system that we're talking about, I almost call it like the cave, right? That we all lived in at one point. It's funny because what does it pride itself on? It's very tolerant, right? Oh, tolerance, be tolerant of alternative lifestyles and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, one ugly girl with a blue hair and then like the 5 other fat guys that are too insecure to like, you know, go get a girlfriend, right? Like polycules or what have you. But it's interesting because that system prides itself on tolerance. Yet with this sort of, for lack of a better term, and I hate to use a boomer term, but cancel culture, when someone is canceled, they're treated like a leper. You're not supposed to have any relation with them anymore. You're not supposed to talk about them. Their name is anathema. There's no forgiveness for them. I mean, I don't know if do you guys follow Joey Swole on social media? He's the,
I did.
Yeah.
yeah,
Not anymore.
But, well, yeah, the whole Hulk Hogan thing,
Yeah.
right? Gives a tribute to Hulk Hogan, and rather think about how powerful it would have been if he tried to get canceled for that, and either he just didn't comment on it and he was like, whatever, or he was like, I don't give a shit, like, you know, cancel. Like, I love Hulk Hogan. He's a great guy. Instead, what does he do? He capitulates to the mob, and it's still not enough for them. It's still not enough.
It's never
the
is.
people
Never
he
is.
tried
Never
to
is.
appeal to. Never is, right?
Which is where I thought you're like, when you in this Jubilee episode, I wish we played a few of the clips, but it's a little late now. But oh, right, we talked about that. I've done it before. You're totally right. You're 100% right.
Oh yeah, because of copyright and stuff.
I've done it before, but it does pull it down, and then you have to appeal it, which doesn't work for a live show. Gosh, I lost what I was saying though. When you were
talking about his Jubilee episode.
Oh, we were talking about the mob and stuff like that, not appealing to the mob.
Well, right, not appealing to the mob. Like, you can't give them an inch because they won't. Like, they will
It's
take
never
it. Like,
enough,
it's never
basically.
enough. But with with the way that you responded to, you're a fascist, was like, yeah, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I think people misinterpreted really what you meant, but I do the same thing. Like, I like to say, I am whatever you say I am. It's like, you are telling me I think you're a fascist. It's like, okay, you think I'm a fascist. It's your perspective that I am a fascist, and I accept that that's your perspective, and I'm not going to argue against it.
100%.
That's what I say. I don't care. I mean, or the other way, anything. I don't care.
Yeah. It's the Bane meme where he's like, but I called you a racist. And you're like, this gives you power over me? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, fine. Okay, I am. I'm gonna double down. I'm not gonna just be like, oh, you got me. That shit worked in the 80s and 90s. It doesn't work anymore. We're all smarter than that.
And because at this point, if you capitulate, you've lost twice. You know what I mean? And it's not even not even, and I guess even the metaphor like it in a game, like losing or winning, doesn't even come, it's not even high enough. Like, it doesn't make sense enough for the allegory. Like, it's not just losing. It's like you have to literally take away everything that you say and just defend that position, even though that has nothing to do with you. And so not only do you lose twice, you absolutely have to give up all the rest of your arguments just to defend that one because of the way that they use it. And so with that, it's not even worth it to argue that point. It's just like, okay, fine, I am. And then continue on with your original argument, because once that's that's their trump card. And when they can't use it anymore, it's done. You have to argue based on, they have to now argue you based on what you're saying and not what they were trying to get you to say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what Hasan has the biggest point.
Yeah, every single time someone accuses you
in that Jubilee episode was.
Oh, sorry, Adam. basically every single time someone tries to accuse you of bigotry, they just want to stop you in your tracks and they want to shut down what you're saying rather than actually argue with that. Like Luke said, basically they can't argue on the merits of what you're saying. So, anytime someone says racist, anti-Semite, bigot, whatever, they can't engage in the argument.
It's very true. Because it's one of those things, all they have is words.
Yeah.
All they have is rhetoric. And when they are allowed to abuse the language of words, you become controlled by those words. I mean, conservatives for so long, it's like half the books they used to publish at like Daily Wire, like with all those different speakers about like, oh, I'm not transphobic. I'm, insert like 5-page essay about what you really are. They don't
I'm
care,
not transphobic. Dude. I'm not afraid of them. I just think they're gross and weird.
Right. I can easily beat them all up. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Why would I be afraid of that?
the other thing that I was kind of thinking about right when Sam brought that up was when Glenn Greenwald was going viral, it's like, okay, well, I respect his work, but you're not going to convince me that what he did on camera isn't fucking disgusting. Like, you can recognize his work's good and even agree with him on some issues, but it's fucking weird. No matter where you are, you can recognize that as weird.
Well, and not to mention
it's the same thing with Cernovich. Like Cernovich was like, I'm a base male Republican. It's like, you sucked a Troon's cock. What the fuck are you talking? I don't care what you have to say. You're a drug addict who sucked dick. Shut up.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think he's good at what he does either. So,
dude, it's so like, it's insane that these guys are meant to represent us, right? Like they prop themselves up as like our representatives or what have you. And not to mention, like, it would be one thing if Cernovich had done something like that in his past and he apologized and turned around his life and he's like, dude, that's fucking evil. Like, don't do that stuff. A good example is like, you guys probably heard about what went on with Avril, right? Like Avril, when he was like in his early 20s and I guess he was like with his ex-wife or something, like they used to do like camming stuff or whatever. But that was like 8 years ago. And he was like explicitly sorry for it. He doesn't promote it. He's like super remorseful of it. And it's like, I'm not going to like stop associating with you just because you like made a mistake, dude. It's like, again, it's 2025. Like, who hasn't like made horrible mistakes regarding like women or what have you? But the difference is that with someone like Cernovich, he is not apologetic for it. He's proud of it. He's like, you should love that I slept with a tranny or whatever, right? And it's like all these guys, I mean, Tristan Tate like crying and whining on the timeline the other day. Oh, so they're really going to kick gay people out of the Republican Party? I hope they do. I hope they do. Why should we be collaborating with these people, dude?
Right. I say it all the time when like the commies were like, well, we're anti-war too. I'm like, right, but I still hate you. Because we agree on one thing. It doesn't mean I fucking want you around me, you piece of shit.
Yeah, we can bully Lindsey Graham together, but then you're still a fucking loser. I couldn't say what I wanted to say.
You're telling me you don't want to support Haas's like American Communist Party where him and like 4 other soy boys are trying to do like woodworking together? I mean, come on, dude, join the revolution.
I still laugh at the Democrats trying to appeal to like white straight men during the last 2 months of their campaign, and it was like the worst ever. They got actors that couldn't even act like normal dudes, like literally just normal dudes. They're like, I love this football.
It was gay men cosplaying as straight men.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So bad.
The fat Mexican guy was the one who really got me. He's like, I'm a real man. It's like, you look like you just ate a house, bro. Like, you look like you ate your abuela. Like, where is she? Where did she go? You know?
Could I ask you?
Ask a question. There you go.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, how fast after that Jubilee came out did you like get canceled or fired?
Doxed. Yeah. How fast you get doxed?
Yeah, you don't have to like tell us all the personal information if you don't want to, but as much as you can.
Oh, no, of course. Yeah, so basically, like, there was the clip that kind of led up to hinting the episode coming out. That was fine. That was, like, kind of quiet enough. People didn't really know what to, like, kind of think of it at that point. But then when the actual episode dropped that Sunday, it was kind of quiet at first, and it was mostly people in our circles being like, yo, this was awesome, this was a great episode. And then that Monday hit, bro, and everything erupted. I'm not even kidding. I left that morning to get on a plane to Florida to go on the Rift with Elijah Schaefer. And the morning of, nothing's going on. Like, there's some rumblings online about it from the left, but it's the normal, like, they get offended about everything, you know, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I get off at my layaway. I think I landed in like Atlanta or somewhere near there. I get off in my like kind of layaway location, and just like everything's blown up. Like, my name's out there. They're already like publishing like, you know, takedowns of me. There was like this journalist from the Rolling Stone that used, like, illegally, by the way, AI to like face dox me. They connected back to like my Catholic club at the University of Denver. And then my Catholic club has like issues statement, you know, Connor hasn't been vice president for like 3 years or what. I can't even remember how long it's been.
Jesus Christ.
So
Yeah,
they're like,
I mean,
the people there wouldn't have even known you besides maybe like one or two.
the upperclassmen at most. And it's like, they're still all my good friends and stuff like that. But like, yeah,
They're like,
you
yeah,
know,
we love Connor. They're just
Connor rules.
let's all say it on social media together. No, but you know, I wasn't mad at those guys because they're just doing PR.
No,
I understand
don't do your
marketing.
shit.
It's, you know, you don't want to get shut down by the school or whatever. So I didn't take it personally.
I would tell
But
somebody to do that.
I think what pissed me off the most was like, my job didn't find out until people like started to go to them and harass them about, hey, this guy works for you. They, like, all these like lefties online acted like it was like, oh, my job found out, just fired me, and then there happened to be this outrage. It's like, no, you sent the mob, you doxed me, dude. You sent the mob after me.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people are like, well, why would you have done this when you had your job? I did think at the time that it was cancel proof. I did think at the time that I was in a position, since I was doing like remote work and what have you, that I wasn't really going to be thrown off. But it didn't matter. The people we were contracted with didn't like me, and they were like, you need to drop them like a hot sack of potatoes. And that's what happened. And I'm not mad at anyone personally. I get they just got to protect their brand image or whatever. But you know, it kind of all coalesced in that way where all these very vindictive, evil people are like coming after me. And it's like, I'm just trying to defend myself and do the best I can, like pick up my legs after I've just been run over by the train. And they're like, he's picking up his legs. He's asking for give, send, go stuff. It's like, yeah, I got fired from my job.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, you know,
you guys sent a fucking crazy mob after me and fucking, you know, try to ruin my life and then ruin my employers' lives. Like, I'm sorry, you know, you can't really blame your employers for being like, sorry, dude, like, we're getting tons of shit. It's fucked up, but like, from their perspective, it's like, you know, it's not necessarily, it's not your fault. It's these people are fucking nuts. They go after your employer, and your employer's like, all right, man, you know, sorry, this is way too much heat for us. But yeah, like, how could you sleep at night knowing that, like, oh yeah, I just ruined this person's life? All you did was go on a show,
pieces of shit.
talk.
Yeah. Imagine spending your energy, like, you have limited time in the day and you have a limited life, and you choose to spend your energy just trying to harm somebody's life that you don't know. I mean, it's so incredibly foreign to me.
These people get paid by the government through subsidy to stay at home and not work. That's why
real.
they have the time.
They're like, I don't
know if you remember the viral video a few months ago of a ukulele cover of Kanye's song, Hail Hitler, that went pretty viral. That's a good friend of ours. That's a good friend of ours, Toad. He got fired. They went to his job and they fired him.
Here's the thing. They're like, that takes into
now
perspective.
He's professional sports better.
I mean,
but he's bad at that too. He should have stuck with his job. He's terrible. I fade every single one of his picks, and I made so much money. So it sucks at
that. Who's that guy like Jim Cramer who does the financial show? And it's like, hey, any advice he gives you, do the opposite. You know,
bad money.
That's Toad with betting. He doesn't understand how football works. It's crazy.
That's crazy. That's so funny.
Okay, but Jim Cramer like works for, like, he's a former. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know
for sure.
No, but
for sure.
To go back to your can't like where people are like, oh, well, free speech doesn't have protection of like your job. It's like, but that's our point. Is it should. We understand it's protected from government persecution, but it should be protected from everything. That's the whole fucking point of the amendment.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. If I was working for like let's say the Open Society Foundation, like an organization where it's explicitly like no right-wing people are allowed to work here, yeah, I would kind of understand getting fired. It's like I'm not with the company's values or mission. But, you know, every single job I've ever worked, I've always been professional, haven't brought any politics in the office. I keep a wildly hard separation between my personal life and my professional life. I will always talk about God, and I will always talk about the faith. That needs to bleed over into everything. But like politics stuff, I don't talk about that in the office. That's not the place for it, right?
Yeah.
And these people act like you're bringing it into the office, like even your friend. His name is Toby, if I heard correctly.
Toad.
Like
Toad.
They're acting like Toad, like
the animal.
Brought in the ukulele and he was like playing it in the office, and that's why he got fired.
Yeah.
It's like,
He probably did, honestly. Knowing Toad, he probably did that.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of a baller move, but nonetheless, it's like
that would be
I don't even
awesome.
like the fact that you're willing, when you really think about like losing a job, it's like, okay, I'm in a position where a lot of people love and care about me, and I have like a safety net of people who love and care about me, right? I'm very thankful for that. I cannot imagine somebody who's in a position where literally if they lose their job, you are taking the food out of their mouth. You are literally starving that person. That person is dying because you did that. That is a fucked up and horrible thing to do to someone. I don't agree with that being done to people, because it's like, it's not just about like, oh, I trolled them, I got them real good. No, dude, you're starving this person. This person might lose their house. Like, there's a more serious consequence to getting someone fired from their job than just mere like, oh, I fucked with them a little bit, right?
Yeah,
It's like it's like old school swatting. Like when people first started doing it on video games, when they started swatting people that they didn't like on their on the opposing team that kept killing them in COD or something like that. There's like real world implications of people doing this.
Died from that.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing where it's like the real world, everything, since it's been so online focused now for so long that they don't have to see it. It's somebody in a completely different state, 2,000 miles away. And they're just like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't affect me one way or the other that I just swatted this person or made them lose their job. That doesn't hit me in any way. And so that's why they think it's okay. Because
the people coming after you are so one brain cell focused thinking where you'll be like, what about my wife and kids? Like, well, they shouldn't be married to a fascist. It's like, bro, you're such
a dude, screw you. One thing that I kind of noticed, and anybody can disagree with me here, but I've told this story more than enough times, so I'll try to keep it brief. But I had a good teaching position available to me at one point, and I had people from out of state that knew me from college, many different people, and even somebody that worked at this specific place calling to give a good word, so that way I would get this job. And multiple meetings. It was over an hour away from me, which was fine. But then they give me a call and say, hey, we're not going to hire you because of your social media. It's like, okay, well, that's like my opinion online. Is that going to affect the way that I teach kids how to fix a car? No. So, and one thing that I'm kind of getting from you, Pinesap, is that like you don't wish this canceling on other people. I see some people celebrating the canceling of other people who disagree with us, and like I share that sentiment that like, hey, they would do it to us. I'm not here to like say, oh yeah, we shouldn't do that. I'm just like, okay, well, whatever. It sucks for them. We probably shouldn't do that, but I just it is what it is. You and I both kind of went through something similar. Now, granted, your circumstances were unfortunately more serious than mine. I already, I still have my job, thankfully, but it's like, I don't wish that on other people because like, dude, that shit sucks, man. Like, we don't want that for other people. It's people's livelihoods that we're talking about.
It would be one thing, and I'll qualify this. It would be one thing if, like, let's say there was like a violent leftist person who is calling for like the death of someone, like something that's like so fucked up and against human dignity. You get fired from your job, good. Like, you do deserve that.
Yeah, I agree.
If someone just like voices like, I like socialism or something like that, I don't think, like, as much as I disagree with you and even think you're an idiot, like, I don't think you should be fired from your job for that. Like, that's how you like pay bills. That's how, like, that's not even a like, I like you kind of a thing, but like, I love you enough to not want you to like starve or die or like lose your house or something like that. That's messed up.
I can't even comprehend, like, I'm so surprised that anybody wants that for other people.
I would agree.
Based on, like, why? Unless they're actively trying to harm you.
Yeah,
Because let's be honest, most leftists are genuinely insane. Like
They are.
have mental illnesses, and like it's like we can't. The six of us here are like that's crazy. To them though, that's just like a fucking Tuesday. Like that's all they have to do. Like Luke said, most of them are disabled, sitting at home, stealing government money. So it's like, what else are they gonna do?
Well, it's just like how, you know, there's this movement of like trannies online that they'll literally post guns being like transition or death, right? Like they see this as like a life or like it's not enough for you to just be like, I don't like your lifestyle. Well, we want more than that. We do want to ban the surgeries and stuff like that in that lifestyle. But
Sure,
you know, it's like I want to get those people help more really than anything. And to them, it's like that's hate. Like that's like you, the equivalent of you saying like, I want to burn down your house with you inside of it or something, even though it's like all you want to do is just be like, I don't want you to be living a degenerate lifestyle. Like I want you to get help and like live out God in your life. But that's not good enough for them.
Facts, 100% true. Yeah, it's crazy, and like I do get when certain people on the right are like, "Well, fuck them, cancel them too." It's like I get your sentiment,
yes,
but like I don't do that. Like, we're better than them. Don't go down that path because then it's just going to be constant this shit back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's like, well, how do we get out of that cycle?
How do we get out of that cycle? Because at that point, what it leads to is, you know, I'm not one of these kumbaya, let's meet in the middle kind of people. It's like, no, like there is a right way and there is a wrong way. But with the right way, again, we want to convert people. We want to change hearts and minds. We're not about bullets. We're about words, right? We're about the force of the argument, the sword of the spirit, not the physical sword. And, you know, promoting that kind of rhetoric where you're like, I hate you. I want to ruin your life. I want to destroy you. Well, no, I really don't want to destroy you. I want you to have new life in Christ. I want you to see how beautiful your life truly can be. And that's why I want to bring you over to my side, right? And I know that I'm not going to do that if I dehumanize you, if I say nasty things about you, if I do things to destroy your life. All that's going to do is tear you apart, make you more resentful, and then you're never going to want to change your heart or mind.
right,
Correct.
Yeah, I think it almost has a worse effect, like the cancelization. I think more people know about you now. I think, you know, like obviously you got a huge amount of support from people, which is awesome to see. Like that, like, you know, it used to be if you got canceled, like a lot of the top right wing guys would jump on board and cancel with you, or they would just capitulate to the left about like whatever reason they decided that the left decided that someone gets canceled. So to see like, you know, I kind of like that. I forgot her name, Shiloh Hendricks or whatever. You know, he got like a crap ton of money, and you know, it was just like a weird clip of her in the park. She's not
And
even.
She literally called a child a slur. Like she should have done that, right? We talked about this.
yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, he was acting up. Okay.
What else you supposed to call him, Sam?
Call him a little shit. He's like 7. Like, what do you
Again, don't
mean?
forget-
Are you serious?
Don't forget, there was a pedophile filming in the park with no kids there, and
Okay,
what he said was the bigger deal.
That's a bigger deal, than a
Yeah.
word, no matter what the word is.
But
Right.
But the point of that situation, even if it's like, it's not the most clear cut, like best moral decisions were made on either part in that situation. It was just like the whole like right wing of the internet was like, we're not doing this anymore. We don't care. We just don't care.
I think
and then it's just crazy that it went to that level. Like, you know, like I would not have predicted that. Like before it happened, like even in today's online world of like 2025 that we're going in, I would have not predicted that would have happened. Like I thought that would maybe happen like another 5 years down the road or something, like maybe. But even then would be hard to see. So like to watch that and then watch you go through something like this. And it's just really cool to see that, there is this force building on our side that's like, hey, we're going to try to take care of our own the best way we can. And we don't have the institutional power, but we have like an online mob that can like support people when they get hit.
It's essentially making people uncancelable, and I love that because, like I said, this Shiloh Hendricks situation, you're looking at it and it's like, oh my God, like, yeah, it sucks that she said that, but like, just to see everybody be like, yeah, we're not accepting this where we just ruin people's lives because they said a word. Like, this just isn't cool anymore. Like, yeah, you could dislike it, but we're not going to ruin somebody's life over this. Like, this isn't the way that, any civilization should act.
No. Well, and I actually do need to apologize. And maybe I should even tweet out about this. When the Shiloh Hendricks thing first dropped, I had the wrong perspective on it because I was familiar when like Lily Gaddis got like canceled because like she said the N-word, but there was this like trend on the right for a while where it was like based e-girl with cleavage out says N-word. Let's get her a podcast.
She was doing it for shock value.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought the Shiloh thing was that for a while. So I tweeted something like, oh, great, we've got a new e-girl. We're all glazing. But then, Nick made a good point about he's like, no, we got to stand by her. She's one of our own. Like, even if you think like she shouldn't be saying that to a child, it's like she doesn't deserve the hate she's getting. I was like, damn, you know what? You're right. Like,
and I agree with that too, by the way.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
just because I had said
also look at the Carmelo Anthony, Carmelo Anthony thing. You had people in the comments of the Carmelo Anthony gifts him. You go, it's like, here because you're black. Like, here's money because like fuck the what. It's like, yo, how we're gonna eventually we're gonna fight back our own way. And this Shiloh was the perfect timing for that because that was like 2 weeks after the Carmelo Anthony thing.
And Austin Metcalf, I mean, that kid had his whole life ahead of him. He was gonna grow up to be a great young man, and to have just some evil kid like Carmelo take his life before it even started is disgusting. They should throw the book at that kid. He should never see the light of day. I mean, this can't happen anymore. We can't allow people to feel comfortable hurting and assaulting and killing people just because, oh, you had a bad day and you got a little pissed off or someone looked at you wrong. That should be unacceptable in the United States. People should feel afraid to ever enact that kind of violence or even think that that's something okay to do,
Yeah, well, again, if the Ukrainian girl was more racist, she would still be alive, right? So it's like you gotta take that into perspective.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, there's this pathological altruism, and I'm not trying to dig on our women or what have you, but you see this a lot with white women, right? It's this like pathological altruism that's like suicidal, right? I mean, I remember seeing a video of this woman reviving this guy with Narcan, and he's like, why'd you do that, dumb white bitch? I wanted to die and stuff like that. And it's like, it's not that I want that guy to die. Of course I don't. I'm Christian, right? But like, why are you like insisting upon, like, I almost guarantee if I went up and talked to her after, she's like, well, you see, Makumbe, he just doesn't have the same language and culture that we have, and it's just
they can't get driver's licenses.
Right,
right. Incredibly racist. It's also incredibly racist. Besides all the others,
most women are retarded. That's just how it is, right? Like my wife's very conservative, but she's also retarded. So it's like it's what it is. But when I told the story before on the podcast, when I was a cop, we used to Narcan people, and they would get up and try to fight us because they lost their high, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna fuck you up, so you should have just been cool.
Yeah,
I fuck you up.
My wife's been EMT. My wife's been EMT for the last probably, I think, almost 5 years now. And granted, she's off raising our daughter now, but like, she told me stories of people will just like throw bodies at you, not like dead bodies, but unconscious bodies, and then they'll like get mad at you. Oh yeah, here, if you hurt her, then it's on you. It's like, no, this person's here to fucking save your family, and you're just being a dick about it. Like, fuck,
legally, by the way, we're protected. Like I can't get if I'm doing CPR on you as a cop or a paramedic or whatever, and I break your ribs, you can't sue me. It's like I'm protected by the law because I'm trying to fucking save your life, you idiot. So it's like, what the fuck? They're dumb.
I always love how it's like, when something goes down, it takes an hour for the police to respond. When the police respond, how can you be in our neighborhood, man? You're an evil president. And it's like, which do you want? Do you want like the first responders, or are the first responders evil, racists or whatever,
Well, I've been saying this for a while now, and everyone has too. But it's like body cams were the left's biggest cell phone, maybe in the last 100 years.
Yeah,
Like the fact the left was going to be like, we're going to show all the bad, law enforcement, and it's just them acting exactly how we say they act, and they're like, damn, that's a fucking bummer for us.
They're like, that's great. Well, even like that guy on the highway, that there was like, he's a civil rights leader and stuff like that. He's making the face. He's like this as he's like trying to assault the cop. It's like, dog, that's such a big cell phone. That's crazy.
You know what's funny is that video of that dude, when he beat up the cop and stole the car. It was probably like 45 minutes away from here, and I remember watching that. I'm like, holy shit. He was like, typically people go about 80 or 90 on that road, and he's flying past people. And then the cops finally knocked him off the road. And I remember he's sitting there talking because you can still see the dash cam. The car, there's smoking glass everywhere. The car's on its roof. And he's still going, man. Oh, by the Lord, name Jesus in me. I remember he was going down the road, and then he said, because I got Jesus, man. The fuck out the way, you ain't got Jesus. That whole video is so fucking funny.
There is something with the culture of policing because of the environment. So like the Michael Brown thing, the name a riot in the last 15 years because of a cop killing a guy, right? It made all these police departments be like, you can't use force for anything. And what happens is that turns into a more violent situation if they use force in the first place. Because like when I was still working with the NYPD, if someone got out of hand, we would just fuck them up. And then we would cuff them and it was over. There was no escalation because we were like, I'm just going to beat the fuck out of you. Like it's justified. I'm not just doing it. Like they were trying to fight us. We'd fuck them up and be like, yeah, that ended that pretty quick, huh? As opposed to like, stop, let me get his arms. Like, no, just beat the shit out of him and cuff him. It shit works. Trust me. Firsthand, I can tell you.
The one that gets me with the videos is taser, taser, taser. And then it like, they shoot the taser, does nothing, right? Like this person's like a juggernaut, dude.
One of my one of the funnier ones.
We arrested two guys on Yeah, Kyle, sorry. My internet's off.
Yeah, that's all right. One of the funnier ones was that it was like a 6'3" black lady, and the cop was sitting there holding his gun at her, and the lady opened the door and swung a knife. I disagree with that, but I can understand, like, if somebody knocks on your door, you don't know who it is. But though, like, when a cop is pointing a gun at you and he's saying stop or I'll shoot, at a certain point, I'm like, all right, you just took your life in your own hands. Like, I can't feel bad anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's the they can't think 15 seconds into the future thing or 15 minutes into the future. It's like everything's in the present. That's what it is. That's what it is.
How would you feel if you didn't have a knife at your door this morning? That's my question.
But I did have a knife at my door this morning.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's like I'm so glad I'm not in law enforcement anymore. That shit sucked. But like, I also, again, people on the podcast know, but I worked in Staten Island. I dealt in a pretty all white neighborhood, so I never had to deal with the racial stuff really. But white criminals act the same way a lot of times, where there's like no impulse control and they just fucking come at you, and you're like, dude, you're gonna lose this battle. And this is also before we had body cams and tasers, so it was like, I'm fucking you up. Like, I'm going home tonight, so good luck, dude.
like it's gonna be like, how do you get that black eye and that broken jaw? Oh, he fell.
Yeah, dude. This is what I'm saying. PCP, like that shit is a real superhuman enhancer. Like I told this story before too, but one guy was on PCP and he tried fighting us, and for Pinesap, you don't know, I used to train him. I still train him, man, but I used to fight back in the day and stuff like that. So I'm well equipped to handle myself. I'm hitting this guy with everything I have, and he was just fucking eating it like Brock Lesnar, dude. And I wound up breaking his eye socket. That's how much I hit him. And he finally, like, at the hospiel, it wore off. He's like, oh, my eye hurts. I'm like, yeah, dude, I fucking was hammering you. And you weren't feeling a single fucking thing. Like, that shit it's crazy. It's crazy.
He's like, oh, my orbital bone is broken. Like, what's the deal?
Oh, I hit you with 42 clean shots. That was probably it.
I had that happen. I was a bouncer. This dude was on drugs, and there were 3 of us on him, and like trying to pull him away from the line of people. I was dropping elbow after elbow on the side of this dude's skull. Like I was slamming because this was a big guy and he had one of my cooks, like a 5'4" skinny cook in like a headlock, and he was punching him in the face. And I was like, and then there was another bouncer on the other side trying to control him with one arm. And then I was holding one of his arms, like trying to control one of his arms and just slamming the side of his head with my elbow, like lifting up, like dropping my weight, like slamming him in the head, and nothing. Drugs.
Yeah, but you're a twink, so you probably just brushed you off like a fly.
You're waiting for all that just to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta go, boys. I think we're gonna wrap it up. This has been fucking fun as shit, dude. Pinesap, please tell everybody where they can find you. What do you got going on? Everything.
Yeah, so really I'm getting back into YouTube again, which has been super exciting. I
Nice.
had it down for a while, but since I'm not really doing too much of the edgy stuff and I'm trying to be more like serious or what have you, it's a perfect platform to be on. But I've got that. Even if YouTube got off tomorrow, I still got my Rumble channel. So if you just look up Pinesap on either platform, I'm right there. Pinesap3 on Instagram, and then Feels Guy 2003 on Twitter. And we've got a lot of great content coming up. I've got some nice lives. Still working on my video content and stuff like that. It's new like format for me, so it's a little tough, but like it's gonna be good. I'm excited.
Awesome.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, Pinesap, I really enjoyed this, man, and we'll have to set up a stream on my show sometime. I would absolutely love that.
Dude, that would be so much fun. And I gotta say, thank you guys for having me on. This was such a
welcome
blast.
back.
Yeah, of course.
Let's go.
Sorry.
Oh, dude, you got to be a recurring guest now. That's it. You got to come on all the fucking time.
Yeah, dude, I'd be down more. Hey, I'm not doing anything else, right?
Yeah, dude, definitely. We'll definitely set it up sometime in the future. But you can find me, Kamatovic. Common Crown will be playing with Hinder this weekend. So if you're in the Pennsylvania area, feel free to come check us out at the Raindrop Inn with Hinder this weekend. I have Ryan Mata coming on Thursday to talk about Bukele and Order.
Let's go.
Nice. Guys, go check out our Rumble, our YouTube. Please subscribe.
Rumble didn't work
Patreon.com.
today, by the way. I don't know why. It like literally.
We'll just upload it later. It's
Rumble
fine.
Wasn't working.
We'll upload it later. But check out our last Patreon episode. We did Typo, Sam, and myself. We did our favorite dictator tier list. So
it was so fun. It was so
fun. Guess who was our favorite? So check out patreon.com/5 till midnight, 5 till midnight on Instagram, 5 till midnight on X also, and check me out at Adam Nutter on Instagram, X, and the Adam Nutter on TikTok. Thank you.
Follow me on MySpace.
Yep.
That's the real typo on Twitter. That's all I got.
Cool. All right, thanks,
boys.
guys.